2, 1, 2. Does it sound all right? Does it look okay? Players. I'm back. Episode number 18 of the Sports Plus Live podcast. The Peyton Manning GOAT episode. And there's a lot of GOATs being talked about today. God, where do we even start? We could talk about, well, let me make sure this is recording here, players. Let me make sure, yep, I'm recording. I just wanted to check here because I don't want to mess this shit up. There we are. We are up and running. Episode number 18, a lot of GOATs to talk about. Let me just run you down what we're going to talk about, okay? Not a whole lot of topics, but topics. Definitely going to talk about, first up, LSU smacking Clemson and GOAT Joe Burrow. Joe Dirt Burrow. We're definitely going to talk about the NFL playoffs. NFC, AFC championship games are set. And my favorite week, whenever it happens, it's fight week. I love fight week. Conor McGregor versus Cowboy, Donald Cerrone. And then Luke Kuechly retires at age 28. Pretty young dude. In a young age to retire. But we're going to get to that in a second. And also a couple other things coming up this weekend that you don't want to miss. But let's talk about it, man. College football is officially over. LSU slapped Clemson. And I mean slapped them, beat them up. It didn't start out too well for Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers. But in Joe Burrow fashion, he figured it out. I said this last time on, I don't know when I talked about it. If you guys saw my last video on YouTube, I'll link it down below. If not, go to youtube.com/sportspluslife. Look it up. It was my reaction to Oklahoma getting smacked by LSU. It was my take on LSU versus Clemson. You guys get to delve into how it is to watch a game, an Oklahoma game with Uncle Edgar. It's sad. It's like this. It's like, okay, we're doing this, and sometimes just straight like this sometimes. And yeah, you go and check it out. Go check out my reaction. I almost cry. But that's besides the point. LSU got it done. LSU, Joe Burrow. I mean, it was a team effort. Joe Burrow, Little Moss. I'm going to call him Little Moss. I don't remember his first name. I don't have not noted in here. And the defense just figured it out. Defense got to stifle the run. And Trevor Lawrence eventually just ended up stopping Trevor Lawrence. I mean, they figured it was a total team effort. From the coaching, the kids on the player, the kids on the field. You also got the band. The band had a lot to do with it. They're playing Neck, Suck My Tiger. Yeah, go check it out. YouTube, Neck. It's called Neck. I think by Tiger Band or something like that. I can't remember what it is. Really catchy tune. Pretty cool. It was an everything effort. I mean, a lot of the games weren't pretty, but they figured it out. They finished undefeated. Now they're national champions. And Joe Burrow will go down in history as probably having the single season best season by any player ever. Is it the best player? Probably not. Like, he's definitely top 5, I think. The best college player you ever seen. Even though he really only made a splash this year, but he had probably the best season anyone has ever had, period. Best players ever, you probably got to look at Vince Young. You probably got to look at Tim Tebow. Those are probably some of the best players ever. Joe Burrow did his thing. I mean, he holds all the record. He had a Heisman Championship, Doak Walker. I mean, all the seeing individual offensive player records you can have. Most touchdowns in the season. The passing record in SEC, overcoming Drew Lock from Missouri. I mean, the guy won everything. And rightfully so. He'll be number 1 coming up in this draft for the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't see any other reason why. He'll go number 1 to whoever's number 1. If for some reason the Cincinnati Bengals trade away, whoever's number 1 is going to take Joe Burrow. He's definitely the best player in the draft coming up. It was just crazy to watch him play. It was a fun game, crazy game. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Clemson. I kind of had a feeling Clemson would lose this game because well, shit, they well, they're in a dogfight against Ohio State. I think they lost a couple players to injury in that game. Pretty shameful. I don't know if they came back. They definitely lost a kid to ejection. Don't remember the kid's name. I remember watching him play against Ohio State and remember thinking, this kid's fucking dirty. What a dirty ass. And he got ejected for that helmet, which I don't think he did. Whatever. I talk about that in the last YouTube video. I'll link it. I don't think it was an ejection, but whatever. I've seen where referees are like, nope, not an ejection. Hit the shoulder pad first, blah, 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 when they went up. Whatever. It happened. He got ejected. I'm kind of glad he did. I wasn't a big fan of his. He's dirty, dude. You got to watch the game against Ohio State. You can see him doing extra shit in that pile. So I wasn't really heartbroken that he was ejected from the game. But Joe Burrow, man, you saw it when it turned on. When he threw that first touchdown pass deep, I think it was to Moss. I don't know, it was maybe Chase. You saw it. It just flipped. And he was like, yep, I got this. Ended up taking the game by the horns and just twisted it and ripping those horns off and putting him on his head, wearing it as a crown, and just getting a massive W, just winning, just a massive W against Clemson, who hasn't lost in 2 years. And it was very satisfying because I've talked about how kids need to get paid. I've talked about these college kids need to get paid, some sort of compensation, something. Dabo Swinney is one of those guys that don't like that kids got paid. He's one of the ones that said, if kids get paid, I'm out. I'm quitting. Quit. Get out of here. Go be an offensive coordinator in the NFL. Get out of here. I mean, just a team effort. At first, I saw LSU at the beginning of the season, and I saw Joe Burrow waving at Texas. Like, it was satisfying. He was like, Texas, you know me, Oklahoma guy. Texas was sitting there crying. He's sitting there. I thought it was kind of douchey. Thought it was a douche, but I can't. You have to call him champion. You can call him a douchey champion. Either way, you got to call him champion. And I really liked how beginning of the game, the ESPN reporter, can't remember her name, don't know her name, was like, it showed her this picture. It was like, oh, look at this. You think this looks like a Heisman? And it's him as a kid or whatever. And he's like, yeah, they'll show everyone. It's definitely a Heisman. And she goes, what would you tell him now? You look like a national champion. And a little bit to fruition or whatever. Maybe he knew something we didn't know. He obviously did because he won the championship. I mean, it's just one of those things where you can't shake the confidence from this kid. There's a different type of swagger. I mean, the way he flexes. I mean, there's just like a lot to what he does. It's just different. It's just different what Joe Burrow does and how he conducts himself. You see him on the sideline, and he's just out on the sideline. He's always on the headset. You see him in between when the defense is on. He was on a headset. I don't know exactly what he's doing. I think he's talking to his coordinators, trying to get something set up, trying to get the next play set up. Don't know what he's doing, but he's always doing something to get ready for the next thing. There's a certain work ethic he has. I don't know if he's one of those one. I think he's a graduate, so I think he does all his classes online. So he's always, I think he's always around football. He puts himself in those situations. He goes in, trains, does his homework, studies the plays, studies other teams. So the work ethic is there. And I mean, we're going to see what happens. He goes to Cincinnati. Maybe he goes and AJ Green's still there. Joe Mixon's going to be there. Who knows what's going to happen with Andy Dalton. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for him. Don't know what Cincinnati has as far as picks go, what kind of moves they're willing to make. So there's still a lot of things that could, for many years, the Cincinnati Bengals were middle of the road. They weren't bad, but this year they were bad, which is pretty crazy. I think they definitely were missing AJ Green. But that's life. That's the NFL. College is coming. That's next. They're going from being kids to being men, and you see them out there smoking cigars. The police are out there trying to arrest them for blah 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 whatever. They're just celebrating. Of course, there's always some haters there, and that's what you saw, all those police officers. And you saw OBJ there acting stupid. Ezekiel Elliott was there. It was a crazy scene. Hopefully they enjoy it. I'm sad the college football season is over. So we gotta wait till, let's see, what is it? What's today? Everyone, today is January. Oh, shit. So we have February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Like 9 months, 9 months left until college football starts again. So you might see some new college football kids being popped out from in Louisiana, from New Orleans, celebrating. Just a bunch of little NCAA CFP championship kids popped out in September. We'll see. You never know. Maybe they're premature. Who knows? But don't be sad. Congratulations, LSU. Congratulations, Joe Burrow, Coach O. Coach O is a good story as well. Got fired by Ole Miss. USC passed on them and passed on him. And that could have been probably the biggest blessing you've ever seen. USC passed on him. Goes to LSU, I think, was it 2-3 years ago. And now he's won a championship. Had one of the best college football player seasons ever. I mean, you could go to USC with all those fancy cars and all those fancy players and all the fancy money, but that'll never buy you what that guy got. Not anymore. No more Leinart or Reggie Bush. I think the last time they won a championship. I mean, you're not going to get that anymore. But don't fret. There's still a lot of football left. Our next topic is the NFL playoffs. NFL playoffs are still going on. We still got 3 more games to go. I had to use my toes. Not the one with 4 toes. I could have still used that one. But 1, 2, 3 games. AFC Championship, NFC Championship, and of course the Super Bowl. We have some exciting games this weekend. Especially, and I'm going to start off with the most exciting one, was the Chiefs-Texans. I mean, all it took was one half. And the second half was just like downhill from there for the Texans. I mean, I'm trying to think of what the sequence of events that happened. So Texans go down first play. I think not first play, but first drive score. So 7-0. Kenny Stills from Oklahoma. By the way, a lot of Oklahoma, speaking of college to NFL, a lot of Oklahoma players scored this weekend. Okay? Just leaving it at that. I'm going to pull that up while we're talking about this, but the Chiefs were down 7-0. And then I believe the next score was that blocked punt. I'm going to pull it up here. Was a blocked punt for Texans. And then, don't know if it was a fumble or any subject, don't know what it was. But they ended up scoring 21 points, 24 points, I think, in the first quarter. Just nuts. It was crazy. I was like, dude, what's going on? Is this the game? There's no way the game's over. And I was just thinking, there's no way they could come back from that. As Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend, mi amigo, gente. Of course they turned it back around. Why wouldn't they? The Chiefs are a very tough team. Me as a Denver Bronco fan, get to see them twice a year for show. Patrick Mahomes is coming out of college. We're still taking on college. Coming out of college, I watched that game, that classic game between Oklahoma and Texas Tech. I watched it. I seen it with my own eyes. They scored 110, 115 points, 20 points. I can't remember, something crazy like that combined. And I saw that Patrick Mahomes, and I was like, I didn't see an NFL talent. I didn't see someone that would eventually win the MVP. I didn't see that. I didn't see that he'd eventually be on the cover of Madden. Like it was just, I don't get it. I sat there and watched him play. I was like, I don't get it. But the only person that really mattered was Andy Reid. Andy Reid actually traded up to get Patrick Mahomes. And then once they actually put him in, which I believe, I'm trying to think of the game he actually got put in. It may have been against the Broncos. I don't remember it. And I remember watching there his rookie year, and I was like, dude, this isn't the same guy I watched in college. So he definitely has evolved. He's gotten better. He's gotten smarter. He's tough. He's hella athletic. We all knew he was hella athletic. There's something between, college and then his rookie year. Like I don't know if he was eating brain food to make him smarter. Like, I don't know what it was, but the guy just got ridiculously good. He saw a field that not a whole lot of people can see. You're talking about from the no-look pass to just an arm down the field. I just couldn't believe how good he was. Eventually, he found his groove. Eventually, the offensive line put it together. Eventually, the defense put it together. And they did it. And the crazy thing about this team, they did that. They won that game with pretty much their best player, one of their other best players, Tyreek Hill, non-existent. The guy was non-existent for the whole game. One of the fastest players in the league, you just couldn't. It wasn't nowhere to be found. But Travis Kelce was available. Travis Kelce caught everything. Watkins was available to catch everything. And another Oklahoma player, Damian Williams, was available to run the ball in. Was available to run the ball in. Damian Williams, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes were that team, the offense on that, with a little bit of support from Watkins. They ended up winning. I don't even remember the score. It was 28. They got skunked from the first 24 to 50 or something like that. I don't even remember what it was. It was so much that they scored so many times that the stadium had to announce that they don't have any more fireworks to bang off. They have no more fireworks to set off. Dude, if you get outscored and if you get outscored that bad to where they don't have any fireworks, like there's something you did wrong. And you go back, and I could tell you where the Bill O'Brien went wrong and the Texans went wrong. They went for it in their own half. So if you're looking at it, let's say the Texans are here, Chiefs are here, and the Texans are going this way. This is the 50-yard line. You see this? For those of you who don't know, I'm started looking at my mic for some reason, but I'm looking at the camera. That if you're watching this on YouTube, that right here in the middle is the 50-yard line. So this is the Texans side, this is the Chiefs side. So they were like over here. Like, see where my pinky is? I don't know, like right around there. I'm trying to draw this out for you. And they decided on fourth down while they're up 24-0 to go for it. They got stopped. I can't remember who it was. They read it. Got stopped on a fake punt short of the first down. And then the Chiefs turned around and scored. It's like, you could look at that, and that's where it went wrong. That's where it started to go downhill for them. It was pretty crazy. Just something. It's just sports in general. It's life in general. Sports plus life in general. That one thing can flip your shit upside down, and that's what happened. Why you would do that, I could kind of get. I could kind of see shit's going your way. Might as well go for it. You're up 24 points. You think your defense has done a pretty good job. By the way, speaking of Texans defense, you know who wasn't available? J.J. Watts. Oh, he had his motivational, speeches on lock, but he wasn't available physically. I felt bad for him. I think even the tackle let him get by to try to catch Mahomes, and he couldn't. He was struggling so bad. The fact that the Texans got as far as they did just shocks me. I don't think they got lucky against the Bills, and they couldn't get it done against the Chiefs. They couldn't get lucky enough against the Chiefs. I feel bad for the Bills. They were very unlucky. I thought the Bills and Chiefs would have been a way better game, but it was still exciting nonetheless for at least a half. And the second half was like, oh, okay, can you guys stop? Like, you're hurting him. They're already dead. But yeah, I mean, it was a cool game, great game to watch. I was thoroughly impressed. Even from a Broncos fan watching the Chiefs play, impressed. And by the way, third Oklahoma Sooner. Kenny Stills the number one Oklahoma Sooner to score in that game. Damian Willis had 2-3 touchdowns. And then Blake Bell scored. Blake Bell, I think he was tight end and quarterback in Oklahoma. I think he was a quarterback, to be honest with you. I can't remember. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Hopefully I'm right. I should remember this. But I used to drink a lot when I was younger, so let's not hold that against me. But Blake Bell scored a touchdown. Moving on to another team, another Oklahoma-filled game was the Ravens against the Titans. And Lamar Jackson, who's going to be the MVP of the league, no doubt, still had a decent game. Still put up over 100 yards rushing, 300 yards passing. But he had a lot of bad picks. I don't want to hold that against him because I sat there and watched him. And I watched his offensive line for some reason. Don't know if it was like, I don't know how many times they've done this. Of course, he's broken plays. Of course, he's had to improvise on the fly. So I don't know why, but I sat there and watched him one, and I remember all five of the offensive line just stopped blocking. And they just stopped. They just stood there and watched. And then all of a sudden he gets sacked for a loss. And I'm just like, dude, what happened? Isn't the first time he's done this? You know, he's not new to this whole running thing. You guys aren't new to this running thing. I didn't think he got the help that he needed. I mean, Hollywood Brown from Oklahoma was probably the most available player, and so was Mark Andrews. But they just couldn't punch it in. That Titans defense was ready. And Coach Vrabel was ready. He was ready for anything. They beat the Patriots the week before. By the way, the Ravens smacked the Patriots in the regular season. So Titans were riding high. And they're riding King Henry to the top. Dude, Derrick Henry is a man. I've said this last podcast. A man. There's no one manlier than Derrick Henry right now. No one. Nobody manlier. Not Aaron Rodgers, not Jimmy Garoppolo. Nobody. Tannehill is, for some reason, maybe a change of scenery helped him, but is playing out of his mind. Playing probably the best he's ever played. Of course he's playing the best he's ever played because he's in the playoffs. He's in the AFC Championship now. So it'll be Titans versus the Chiefs. This game coming up will really test how ready Vrabel is, how tough Derrick Henry is. I think Derrick Henry is going to run all over that defense. Now, the question is, will that offense, Titans offense, be ready to outscore the Chiefs' the offense? The Chiefs' defense, okay, but I don't think they've been the best ever. This is going to be a very interesting game. It's going to lie on Derrick Henry, how he runs the game, how he runs the ball, and Patrick Mahomes, Kermit the Frog, how he conducts the game, how he sees fit, whatever he does, are they going to be able to contain him? The Titans did beat them earlier in the season. So, I mean, there's a lot to go off of that. Titans have the edge here. It's in Arrowhead, so there's going to be something different there. I think the first game was in Tennessee. I can't remember. Don't have it in my notes here. I have different notes. But, I mean, you got to look back at what they did to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson still had 350 yards passing, 120 yards rushing. So had a good game, but just no touchdowns. And that's what matters, is that score. They only scored 6 points. Derrick Henry had a passing touchdown more than Lamar Jackson. Tannehill had a rushing touchdown, one rushing yard one more rushing touchdown than Lamar Jackson. If that was a bet in Vegas, I would have put a hundo down and won a lot of money. It was a tough game for the Ravens. Hard to watch almost, but I'm glad, because if you guys watch my end of the year podcasts or my end of the year video on YouTube, it's actually, that's the only way you're going to see this on YouTube. I forgot because I messed up the audio. Go check it out. I'll link that one below as well. I wanted new faces. I wanted new teams involved. And that's what we're getting. We're getting Chiefs. We're getting the Titans on the AFC side. NFC side, moving on to the NFC, we got the Packers. And then we got the Niners. Packers beat the Seahawks, which I kind of hurt because I wanted the Seahawks-Niners classic again. But the Seahawks weren't, I don't know, there was something about their play. They just weren't ready. But that the Packers were. Defense was great for the Packers. It was an overall team effort for the Packers. I mean, you're talking about all the way from Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams was amazing, of course. The first quarter, they played very well. Aaron Jones, all the way, to the defense, special teams, and, of course, the referees. The referees. I don't get what... Somehow, whenever the Packers play, and I'm not a Packer hater. I like Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams is one of the best. I think that's his name. Adams. We'll talk about. Some of the best talent out there. But somehow the referees always have to get noticed. They need to be noticed. They're that chick who doesn't get enough attention. They need to be known that they're there. People need to see them. People need to hear them. It was... Yeah, there was a few games. My blood pressure. I'm trying to get it right. 2020, getting my health right, getting everything right. So I'm not going to talk about the referees, but we got to talk about them. They are an issue. They are the video assistant refereeing, the replay. It's bad. But towards the end there, they called that first down by Jimmy Graham, I think is who it was. And I sat there and watched it live. I was like, there's no way that's a first down. And where the referee spotted was way past the first down. They even went to review it and said, yeah, it's a first down. I'm telling you, man, I just don't get it. I just don't get. I don't get it. But either way, the Packers are in. Seahawks going to get it done. And now they're playing rematching the 49ers. Probably the best team through this year of the 49ers. They've just gotten it done. They just figured it out. There's no way. They've just gotten it done. They beat up teams. They beat up the Packers earlier this year. That Jimmy Garoppolo is why they traded for him. He got hurt last year. Very unfortunate. You could tell that they missed him last year. This team with Jimmy Garoppolo, with Bosa, of course they added Emmanuel Sanders, was a little bit of veteran presence in the middle of this season. Has played well. From running the ball, passing the ball, to blocking, to the defense, the turnovers, just everything. They've been probably the most complete team all year. And they're definitely the favorites to beat the Packers. Now, with that being said, Niners beat up the Vikings. Same thing with the Vikings. They've been probably one of the most inconsistent team. Keep in mind, that that game against the Broncos, they won the game in that second half. But there wasn't a consistency to them all year. They lost games they shouldn't have lost. They gave up leads to teams they shouldn't get, like, especially the Broncos. I mean, they had a. I don't remember if that was the one where Drew Lock was. I think Drew Lock was his second game, first or second game. Second game, I believe. That's the one they lost. And yeah, it was just I don't know. I don't get it. They weren't consistent enough. Kirk Cousins just isn't a consistent quarterback. Dalvin Cook was the best player on that team, hands down. Stefan Diggs, definitely still a good talent, still a little crybaby. Adam Thielen was hurt for most of the season. Fucked up my fantasy teams. More than one. I did like 7, which I'll probably never do it again. But if I do it again, I'm not going to tell you because I just told you I never would do it again, but I'm going to do it again. But the Niners have been the best, most complete team. I mean, you've seen all year. I mean, from the defense to the offense, the game against the Browns is very obvious. The games against Seahawks, and then of course the one against the Packers, they all stand out. Yeah, they were just better, and I think they're the favorites right now to win the Super Bowl. They have to be. I still don't believe the Packers have it in them to beat them. It's very interesting to see who goes through on the AFC side to play them in the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be the Niners, and I think I'm going to have to give it to the Titans. Look at the landscape of the last 4 teams. LaFleur, is it Vrabel? I think Vrabel. And then Andy Reid. And then, who's coaching the Titans? No. Who's coaching? Shanahan. A lot of young coaches there. With the exception of Andy Reid, a lot of young coaches there. You look at the year before. Sean McVay, a young coach, younger than me, 33 years old, in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's where you're going. You see Matt Rule got hired on to the Carolina Panthers. Everyone's still trying to seek out Lincoln Riley, who's just a year over like 40, not a very old dude. I mean, this game is changing. It's faster. It's quicker. It's just a bang bang. It's boom boom. It's this and that. It's a lot of things. It's just, but ultimately, it's just gonna be quicker. You need younger coaches because you need younger minds. It's just what it is. It's not the older the better anymore. And so henceforth, I'm gonna bring this back, kind of full circle. Younger coaches means younger referees. Let's get on to it. I'm gonna speak out on this at least once a week, till something changes. As in case in point, that Packers game, they think too much. That Packer game, the one I don't even remember. There's been a lot of them. I'm not gonna bring it up. 2020, getting my health right. This weekend's gonna be fun. Catch me on the couch. Catch me chilling, watching sports, throwing a little bit of life this weekend. Sports plus life, throwing it in a little bit. Football, NFL football, NFL playoffs. So once again, it's going to be the Titans versus Chiefs. And then you're going to have, I think on Sunday, I don't know if they're Saturday and Sunday, I can't remember. You can look it up. You have Google. I don't tell you. Some of you guys have the ESPN app. If you want me to, I'll post it on my Instagram. But speaking of Instagram, speaking of sports, speaking of what's popping off this weekend, it's Fight Week on Instagram. I have a picture with the winner that I'm going to post Saturday. So look at that. Look it up. Find me, Sports Plus Life, Instagram and Twitter, MRAKACO, Instagram and Twitter, and then also YouTube, Sports Plus Life, youtube.com/Sports Plus Life. I'm going Cowboy over Conor McGregor this weekend. A lot of little new fighters, a lot of you new fight fans. Oh no, Conor's the GOAT. Conor's not the GOAT. This fight's at 170 pounds. You're getting a bigger Conor. You're getting a bigger Cowboy. Yes, you're getting a bigger Conor. But you're going to get an underweight Conor compared to Cowboy. Conor's right at 170. So this is a natural weight for him. This isn't Japan. Cowboy's going to come in 185, 190 probably. A bigger dude. Stronger dude. A more well-rounded dude. Better on the ground. Better overall as far as kickboxing goes. McGregor probably the better boxer. It's going to be a more entertaining fight than people think. I think people are discrediting what what Cowboy is hard. Conor, what Cowboy has done. I mean, Cowboy has lost. If you've seen his last fights that he's lost to killers. And all guys that I think will smoke Conor McGregor. Justin Gaethje, knockout. You're looking at the former champion, might be an interim champion, Tony Ferguson. He lost to Rafael dos Anjos. Anthony Pettis. Nate Diaz. Jorge Masvidal. These guys are the top of the top. Darren Till of the 107. Darren Till's a 185 pounder. So Conor McGregor or Cowboy Cerrone's lost to killers. All those guys that I've named, Cowboys or Conor's pretty much as either ignored or stayed away from. Rightfully so. I mean, you go up to 170 pounds, heavy hitters. You're gonna get kicked in your face. You're gonna get punched in your face. I want to say that fight with I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up right now. But the Conor Nate Diaz fight, I believe. Let me see, his Nate 2016, if I remember right. Was that at welterweight? Yeah, I think it was at welterweight. But I mean, even then, he squeaked by decision. I don't even think he won that fight. So, I mean, he really hasn't fought much. He fought Khabib last year, and then got beat up pretty good. Then before that, he fought Mayweather, and then Nate. So he hasn't really done a lot of fighting. I mean, like I said, he's done a lot of fighting, just a lot of fighting in the court, fighting against cell phones. He says he's probably been the best. His coach has said he's been the best he's ever seen. Ali Quinta was the best Cowboy apparently against Cowboy. Ali Quinta took Khabib Nurmagomedov to the distance. Shouldn't have done it. Cowboy walked right through him. Same thing with Hernandez. Cowboy walked right through him. Same thing with Eddie Alvarez. Cowboy walked right through him. They only have very few common fights. I see an exciting fight. I see Cowboy winning it. But some sort of finish. I think experience here in the octagon is going to be a little bit different. Cowboy's been the most active fighter ever. I mean, he's one of the only fighters to fight 5 times in a year, maybe 6. So he's been an active fighter. So there's a lot there. I mean, he's seen a lot of things. So yeah, I mean, I'm going Cowboy Cerrone. You can be mad over that if you won't. I don't give a fuck, as Conor McGregor would say. But I like this card. There's still a lot of weird. It's still a weird card because it was last second. You put this together in a month, pretty much. I think the fight was announced December 11th, December 12th. It's January 15th. You have, I mean, it was very last minute put together. Co-main event is Holly Holm versus Raquel Pennington. You could definitely see some sort of title implications there whenever Holly Holm is involved. Holly Holm last fight was against the Lioness, I believe, where she got smacked. The best pound for pound fighter, women fighter. Amanda Nunes smacked her. And then you also have Raquel Pennington, who also last fought. Let me take a look here. Don't have my notes pulled up. I was very unprepared, but I was too excited. I had to come talk to you guys. I had to come see your faces, or I need you guys to see my faces. Raquel Pennington beat Eden Aldana. I was high about it. If you guys sit there, I don't remember. It was UFC 245 where I talked about how good she was. She's rebounded back since that fight. So she beat a tough individual. Maybe just got her on her off day. It was a decision. Raquel Pennington likes to grapple. Holly Holm will be very well prepared for that fight. Jackson Winklejohn gym comes out of Albuquerque. Same gym as Clay Guida, John Jones. That camp, Yoel Romero trains out of there sometimes. So there is a lot of talent there. And she's been there since she was 16, so a lot of good chemistry going on there. A lot also in that fight, UFC 246, by the way. I was too excited to get into UFC 246. If you guys want to Google it, follow along. UFC 246 on ESPN. The pay-per-view will be on ESPN. The one fight I'm interested in is Anthony Davis. Yeah, it's Anthony Davis. I don't know why I was laughing. I got it right. Shut up. Mind your business. Anthony Davis versus Carlos. Oh my God. Carlos Diego Ferreira. And Anthony Davis. So Anthony Pettis. Oh shit. I did it again. Anthony Pettis. I'm leaving that in. That's a struggle. I'm thinking unibrow. Anthony. Okay. Anthony. That's why I was laughing. I knew I goofed something up. But try not to curse. 2020, don't cuss. Let me get some water in me. Anthony Pettis. So funny story about Anthony Pettis. He came out Ariel Helwani show this weekend. I think it was ESPN or ESPN Plus. I don't remember what's that on. But that he had an injury his last fight. Was that one against? Let me see. Was that against? This is bothering me right here. Oh yeah, it was Nate Diaz. So his last fight, he went on there and he said he's suing USADA. USADA is the United States anti-drug blah 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 group, whatever, that oversees the drug testing, the drug usage in MMA right now. Amongst other things, I think they do Olympics as well. But they oversee. So apparently he's suing USADA because USADA gave him a test right before the fight, like an hour before the fight. And apparently he had to piss in a cup. So USADA he wasn't ready, so he had to warm up, and USADA was there. When he was ready, he had to grab the cup, which is not a metal, but a glass cup. Grabbed it, did his thing, peed on it, twisted it off, looked down, noticed he had a cut, like, I don't know, in the web of his hand. And it cut him. So he had a pretty good cut. He had to get stitches. Now, his coach, Duke Rufus, one of the best one of the best coaches ever, said, you can't fight. An hour before the fight, you can't fight. Called the doctors in, UFC doctors. They said, well, we could super glue it. It'll stay intact for the fight. Or we can stitch it up, but it's going to bleed during the fight. Anthony Pettis says, well, I can stitch it up. They're not going to stop the fight because I have a cut in my hand. So I think they super glued it. I can't remember what he said. You go check it out. Ariel Helwani, one of the best in the game as far as the UFC goes. I think one of the best ever. You're going to see him. You see him a lot in ESPN on basketball games. That's besides the point. Maybe one day I'll get on the show. We'll chat. But if not, if you don't know who he is, go look up Ariel Helwani. I call him the nose because he has a big old schnoz. Anyways, good beak, as my old coworkers used to say. But yeah, he got cut in. For that, he's suing USADA. Don't know how it's going to work out. Doubt he wins. But if he does, that's going to be a big step. But they've also recently changed how they test people, I believe. I didn't see that. I'll bring that up to you guys next time I see you. But yeah. I mean, it was it's just pretty crazy. I feel bad for him. It was big fight against, and he was doing pretty good too until I think he got that cut and couldn't continue anymore. I believe it was a cut. Yeah, they stopped the fight. But yeah, moving on from Anthony Pettis, another chick. So Cowboy from Colorado, another Colorado fighter on the card. Which is last two things I just talked about are kind of go hand in hand. You have Cowboy Cerrone from Colorado to Anthony Pettis, who has fought before. This is like 6 degrees of separation. Anthony Pettis, Coach Duke Rufus. Coach Duke Rufus also trains Macy Barber. The lovely Macy Barber. We've talked about her in the past. Macy Barber from Colorado. Full circle. It always comes first full circle. She's fighting Roxanne Modafferi. The Silent Samurai, or the Happy Samurai, I think they call her. Something like that. Been around a long time. Fought since, God, women weren't allowed to fight. I don't know. Been fighting a long time. Against Macy Barber, and I got youth. Macy Barber, I think, will take this fight. She's a quicker fighter. Deadlier striker. If Modafferi has any chance, she's going to have to outsmart her. Do something. Catch her with the grappling. But I think Macy Barber takes it all the way. But look out for that, because Macy Barber's on the come up, one of the best women prospects you've seen in a while. Has the looks, has the charisma, has the skills for sure to be one of the top fighters. So you never know. We'll see. Andre Fili always brings a tough fight. You also have Tim Elliott. God, I haven't seen Tim Elliott fight in a while. Askar Askarov. Speaking of Colorado, Drew Dauber, I think he's from Nebraska, but has fought a lot in Colorado. I've seen him a lot. Strike Force here. I think one of my old buddies fought him a while back. So tough dude, durable. Just watch the card. These are the unexpected cards. Outside of Conor McGregor, there's a lot of talent on this card. A lot of tough individuals on the card, and you can see a lot of exciting stuff on this card. So I would check it out. At least check the prelims on ESPN. And then if you can, go to like a Buffalo Wild Wings. This isn't sponsored, but or anywhere they're showing the fight, really. Buffalo Wild Wings, Hooters is in pretty good wings. I don't know who has better wings out of those two. We'll have to do a Sports Plus Life eating contest to figure it out. But yeah, great card. I'm excited. I'm always excited. This is the first fight of the year. First fight of 2020. First fight card of UFC fight card of the decade. So not a better way to kick it off. Not a better way to get the decade started than the Conor McGregor fight. And a couple more things to go over that I just wanted to talk about. Just quickly, Manchester United plays Liverpool this weekend. Manchester United plays Liverpool, and Manchester United had a pretty good record against the top 6. If you guys don't remember me talking about the top 6, so the Premier League has a top 6, the top 6 teams. Reason why we call them the top 6: top 4 go to at the end of the year, who are finished top 4 go to the Champions League, and the top 5 and 6 go to Europa League. So there's Europa tournaments, sidebar tournaments, and I think the 7th goes in the Europa playoff, I believe. Those are usually the best players the best teams throughout the year, and Manchester United has had a good record against all of them. Earlier in the year, they tied 1-1 to Liverpool, which 2020 getting my health right. Don't get me started on that game. But they're playing again Sunday, I believe, 9:30, I think our time, Mountain Time, 11:30 Eastern. Can't remember. Google it. You guys got Google. I'm not prepared today, but I'm prepared to talk to you about it. We're going to see what happens. Manchester United have been very, very inconsistent. Liverpool have not lost at all. I think they've tied 2 or 3 games, and one of them was to Manchester United. Manchester United in the Premier League have already beat Man City, beat Leicester City, lost to Arsenal, and then who's the other team? I think they drew with Wolves, I believe. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. They just beat them today, so that's what I'm wearing. The Red Devil hat today because they won today 1-0 FA Cup replay. So they play the first game, which is pretty cool. They play the first game, no one wins. They go to the second game, which was today. Manchester United won 1-0, one Mata goal. We advanced to the next round. I don't remember who we played. They already drew it out. I don't even know what the other team played yet. They were supposed to play, but yeah, I'll check it out. And it's not a big deal right now because we're talking Liverpool. Liverpool have not lost. They've been the best team in all of Europe. Haven't lost. I don't get it. It's kind of the same thing as maybe kind of the Niners I was talking about earlier. Liverpool have been the most complete teams. They've had it all, almost like the Packers. They've had it all. They've had the defense. Virgil van Dijk, one of the best players in the league, in the world right now. One of the best defenders in the world right now. They have Adrian as one of the best goalkeepers in the world right now. Mario Sane, one of the best wingers on the. Mo Salah, Roberto Firmino, who's annoying as fuck. And they've had a lot of depth in their league. And they also have one of the best right backs in Trent Alexander-Arnold. Very young dude, 21 years old, and just amazing player. And one of the big reasons why they won the Champions League last year. So they will be playing against each other this Sunday. Like I said, Manchester United, very inconsistent. Also today, looks like our best player, Marcus Rashford, took a knock. Don't know if he'll be available come Sunday. It's Wednesday. But the kid's resilient. We'll see what happens. But they've done well with Mason Greenwood in, young 19, 20-year-old as well. 19, I believe. Tony Martial. Those three up front. Remember 4-3-3. I don't want to get into that. We'll talk about that later. 4-3-3. They've been in three up front. They've been scoring all the goals. They've been playing better together. So we'll see what happens. The big issue is in the midfield. No Paul Pogba, no Scott McTominay. That's been a big difference there. If they make any changes, you have to put Juan Mata in the middle. Juan Mata is a general. Juan Mata's been around for a long time. Smart. That's what they have to make. Especially with Matic down there, in there, and then Fred has been very inconsistent. But there's no one else you could put there. Who knows what's going to happen? You might even see Mason Greenwood attacking midfielder. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. We won't find out till Sunday. David De Gea has to be on his game, which he can be. We've all seen him, the best goalkeeper in the world. And the defense is just spotty. I mean, hopefully Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire can get it figured out. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, one of the best right backs right now in the league. Right now, left back, and you have either Brad Williams or Shaw. We have the tools. Just inconsistency. I don't want to say it's coaching. I don't know I can't put my finger on what's wrong with them. But I think if we do have a flaw, it's our midfield. Our midfield just hasn't been where it's supposed to be. And that's a big reason to Paul Pogba being injured. When he was in those two games he was in before he got injured again, the dude was just phenomenal. He showed why he's one of the best players in the world. Scott McTominay, his leadership, his grittiness, his gritty attitude, a Manchester United academy player. Remember, academy players start from a young age in Manchester United Academy. You don't see that very much here anymore. You're starting to implement it here. That thing's been around forever overseas. But there's Manchester United, there's Ajax, Barcelona, who have probably some of the best academies you've ever seen. That's a different podcast. That's a different episode. But this weekend, a lot of great soccer action to fill in that void of the other sports that aren't available right now. Check it out. You wake up early Sunday, early Saturday, just peep it on NBC Sports. If you have ESPN Plus, there's a lot of Italian League. I don't watch Italian League because it's very stereotypical soccer. To what you guys think is soccer, that's Italian League. The diving, the complaining, the crybabying, the soft shit. I don't watch the Italian League for that very reason. So even I've hardly watched Cristiano Ronaldo play, one of my favorite players. One of the best players in the world. I hardly watch him because I can't stand that fucking league. It's amazing. It's amazing. Anyways, check that out on Sunday. I believe 9:30 Mountain, 11:30 Eastern. maybe noon. I think 11:30 is when the broadcast starts. Blah, 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 whatever. But to round this off, and I want to talk about retirement because just yesterday it was announced that Luke Kuechly retired. At the time of recording this yesterday, today's the 15th, yesterday the 14th, Luke Kuechly retired from the NFL at age 28. It seems to be a trend now. And I've talked about the rules that NFL has had in place, colleges have in place of trying to reduce these head injuries, which is a big reason why a lot of these guys are retiring. And head injuries are kind of hard to overcome sometimes if you keep getting hit in your fucking head. That's kind of the issue we see going on here, is that Luke Kuechly just plays balls to the wall. I saw him in the Super Bowl against the Broncos. I've watched them that whole season. They had a great season that year. Luke Kuechly plays balls to the wall. He plays hard. And, he's probably made enough money, and he was like, you know what? I want to have kids. I don't know if he has kids. He might want to raise a bigger family. But he just wants to be available. And that's probably why he retired. He wants to be available in 20 years. Not like checked out, kind of like what we talked about on the year-end podcast with Junior Seau. You see a lot of people like Junior Seau. You see a lot of people like Earl Campbell who just can't walk anymore. You see a lot of these guys. And it's like, it's scary. And it sucks because these guys can't play the game they love. Jason Witten stepped away, then came back. But you look at these people. Luke Kuechly, 28. Gronk, 29. Andrew Luck, 28, I believe. Calvin Johnson, Megatron, was 30. And I believe so was Cam Chancellor. Megatron may have been a little bit 29, 28. But all under 30 or under. But you also look at these guys that I just mentioned. Big athletes, play balls to the wall. So there's a reason why they had to call it a career early. I can see why. They want to give their bodies rest. They want to be available moving forward. I don't know where this sport is going. I don't know. It's just crazy to think about. Who knows? You might see another one. Remember, what's his name? For some reason, I can't remember his name, but I mentioned this before. The dude who was like, you know what? This is not worth my health anymore. I quit at halftime for the Bills. Quit at halftime and just leaves. I don't know. It sucks, but I get it. And hopefully, hopefully. I mean, it's the best move for him. I hope he's not. I hope he doesn't suffer from depression. I hope he doesn't suffer from PTSD, whatever it is. But it's crazy. I mean, your body is just, especially for a football player, it's a different type of machine. Joe Thomas, the Cleveland Brown legend, never left. You don't see a lot of Joe Thomases anymore. But just a legend like Joe Thomas stayed around. After he left, he decided to retire. Dude, the guy lost a lot of weight. He's cut. He's ripped. Like, it's just crazy. You see all these players. The Gronk. You see the Gronk, how big he used to be. How skinny he is now. So, people don't understand. I mean, people sit there and talk shit about this and that. I'm one of them. I'll talk shit about this and that. But these guys go through a lot. And that's why I think, and that's one of the big reasons why I think something with the referees have to be changed. I will always bring this up. I already said this earlier today. This episode, today, I will bring this shit up until I have to. There has to be change. Young referees, quick referees, spot referees, a compound definition of what a catch is, what a head hit is. There has to be a compound definition to keep for a longevity for these guys who keep doing what they want to do, doing what they love. Same thing with the college players. We just got to do better for our kids. And that I think we're in the right. I think we're getting there, but sometimes I don't. And I hope it gets changed. I hope everything gets changed for the better. XFL, for those of you guys who don't know, XFL starting the week or two after the Super Bowl. So that'll be another way to. Well, we're gonna see what they do. There's a bunch of rules. They just set out the rules. We'll talk about closer to when that comes up. We'll see. We'll see. But Luke Kuechly retired. A lot of these guys are retiring early. But it's also known that you also have to take care of your body. You have to play smart. And the reason why I talk about that, now I bring that up. Today it was announced that Larry Fitzgerald is coming back for one more year with the Cardinals. And I think Larry Fitzgerald saw the upside in that Cardinals team as well, as he just feels better. He just feels good. I think this was supposed to be his last year, and he was like, nah, I'm going to sign one more year. That having Kyler Murray, Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald, I think they have, who they have, I'm drawing a blank, but a lot of upside with that team, and with Coach Cliff Kingsbury. But there's some people who just can do it right and some people who don't. Like I said, these bodies are machines. Conor McGregor, we're talking about Conor McGregor, who thinks he's an in-shape player, said, I'm doing something wrong because LeBron James is paying $1.5 million each year for his health, training, nutrition, gym equipment, blah, 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 this and that, just stay healthy. That's why LeBron James has a longevity in the league, especially a faster league, and he still could keep up 35 years old, 36 years old. Yeah, just nuts. But some people do it right, some people do it wrong. And you see people like Tom Brady still playing, still wants to play. It is what it is. I mean, it's just, a lot of it has chance. There's a lot of it you can control. A lot of it you can't control. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's there's definitely, I love the entertainment factor of football. I love these guys. I love that, especially with football coming down to the end. I just love. I mean, they keep me away from drugs. First of all, they make the just anything shitty going on. I almost forgot that Australia's on fire too. So just a great distraction. So hats off to them. All NFL players, especially with it winding down. Thanks for the entertainment. And just thank you in general. They do a lot of great. So if you guys sit there and go and get drunk, talk shit to these guys, just remember a lot of them can fuck you up, but can't. So I'm wrapping it up there. A lot of football going on. Football, soccer, football Americano. Fights this weekend. So yeah, so much going on. I'm dropping one podcast this week. We'll see about next week too. But yeah, I just want to drop one podcast for you this week. Bunch everything together from last week into this week and coming up. And we want to talk about that. So holler at me. If you guys have any questions, see me on Twitter, Sports Plus Life. I'll probably live tweet this week in Sports Plus Life through all weekend. You could also find me every now and then on Instagram, of course, as well. Sports Plus Life, Instagram, Sports Plus Life, Twitter, MRAKACO, Twitter and Instagram, youtube.com/Sports Plus Life. So look out for me. This podcast is dropping everywhere. Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube as well. So with that being said, players, I'm going to call you Sports Plus Life. You guys are lifers. Those of you guys are listening right now, Sports Plus Life, you guys are lifers. Lifers, lit.